How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to give the day 2 update for the Icefire Fusion Gemma build here. First thing, let's go ahead and show you where the DPS is at for it now. I did make quite a bit of actual swaps here, but we were able to get ourselves over 100 mil DPS here when we actually get our burst timings actually lined up. We are capable of actually getting it up to about 130. So this is like because of the way that we were working with spell burst here, we're working with very specific burst windows. And we're trying to get here to line everything up with spell burst and some of the other abilities. But if we get spell burst to go off in the middle of everything that we're doing, we are able to get these like 120, 130 mil burst windows here. So we'll call it 100. That's all we can give for this video, so it's about the more consistent for what I'm actually saying here. So let's go ahead and stop this and show you kind of where we're at. In regards to the gear, I didn't make too many changes. I did end up swapping the Elemental Envoy to a Realms Ring because this was only 3 FE. This is slightly more damage than the Elemental Envoy Ring. I did end up crafting a couple of wands. For these, what you want to do is you just want to buy a wand that is a +2 lightning skill level wand. You should be able to find quite a few of these different bases for 1 to 3 FE. Preferably try to find some that have 100 plasticity still. And then basically once you have them, what you want to do I don't actually want to click this one. What you want to actually do to go about crafting it is you just end up basically clicking in order to lock the +2 to lightning, and you're just going to roll until you get something better. As soon as you try to lock 2 mods at once is where it starts to cost 1 FE per. So for that, you typically just want to roll and lock the 1 +2 lightning, and then when you go to click craft, it's going to give you a prompt like, do you want to keep what you had before, or do you want to take the new stuff? And you're basically just going to roll to try to get something better. So you can see here I rolled a couple of them. This one I ended up hitting this 46% elemental damage with some spell crit, and then I was able to just craft the crit chance on it. And on the second one, this one I actually purchased. It had the +2 lightning and 69% spell damage. So I actually rolled with both of these, and then I did end up rolling these other 2 things here. I did the 1 click of the crafting that costs 2 FE per click in order to get the 5th mod on there, and then I just crafted crit damage for the last mod. I can showcase if you are still trying to play the budget version of this. I recommend just using 2 Spring Resurrections. I wouldn't actually change to using the other shield at this price. Like, it's not worth buying, I don't really think, at all at its current price. I would just leave it and just continue to run double Spring Resurrection until the price either comes down. I'm not sure if the drop rate changed or what exactly happened with it, but the price on it is a bit extreme right now. So you can see here, even with double Spring Resurrection, we're still getting decent damage on it. This is 52 mil. I think this is even on the level 85 one, because I feel like if we run the level 75 one, we should be able to get even higher damage on this. Even just running double Spring, you're still getting, upwards of 65 mil in most things you're doing, because you're not really fighting level 85 monsters in pretty much anything. So as you can see here, rest of the gear, pretty much the same. Just roll res on this. Best case scenario for your necklace, again, as before, buy a +1 lightning skill necklace. Preferably, if the best case scenario is hitting +1 lightning skill level, and then base trauma, along with either base shock, base ignite, or base wilt. Any of them basically saves you a link on other things and gives you a little bit more damage. For your helmet, you're just looking for resistances. Same with your chest, because these pretty much, because of the amount of uniques that you're using, you're just basically rolling for your resistances and everything. For the sockets, these have changed slightly. For the level 93 build here, skill tree stays the same in Warlock and Elementalist. Nothing changes here. In Goddess of Knowledge, I have put the 4 points here into the Spell Burst charge speed. This is really strong, and I took a couple points out of skill radius because I was getting skill radius in other places on the tree, so I was able to pull these out and put it into this max life and energy shield instead to give myself a little bit more survivability. If you don't care about survivability, you just want more damage, you can put it into these crit chance nodes instead. For the actual links, I did end up changing these around a bit because we're starting to be a little bit more focused on the spell burst damage. For this, I ended up swapping in a critical strike rating increase for Sparkle. I do not know if this is better than either Cold Pen or something else. It's really going to depend on what your gear is, on whether or not critical strike rating is better than Cold Pen. You're going to have to test it yourself. Psychic Burst was like at least a 25% damage increase over anything else, so you're going to end up wanting to use this. For Compound Potion, just running Berserk if you have the things in there. If you don't have the links, don't run it, it's fine. So for Frigid Transmission, same thing. We are just running Mark here. So this changed a bit. We're running Mark, which is just giving us a little bit extra damage with our Critical Strike, with our Crit Multi. Psychic Surge is giving a little bit of damage boost to our Sparkle. And then we have Added Fire. So you're going to notice here what we did end up changing is we were running Added Fire on Frigid Transmission because when we're using this on a boss, the length that the fire ailment lasts is long enough that you can always keep it up with Frigid Transmission. But I did notice that with the Shock and Wilt, if you were just running Added Erosion and Added Lightning on Frigid Transmission, it wasn't enough to keep it up at 100% uptime. So I did end up changing Thundercloud to running added lightning damage and added erosion, as well as crit increase instead of lightning to cold, because you want to ensure that your Thundercloud is still doing 50% lightning. What I ended up changing here is, or the reason why I changed this, part of it, is the fact that I am running, or that I was able to get myself a Pedigree of the Gods at a pretty low price. Here that is giving me transition, which is highly incentivizing that I end up pushing more critical chance. If you aren't running this, it might be better to just be running either Cold Pen or Freeze Chance, something else that's just going to increase your damage. So you're going to need to test this yourself based off of the gear that you have. Clear Angle here is just doing the same thing. It's just giving us lucky damage against anything we're shocking, which everything is shocked because of Thundercloud. For the Divinity Slates I have here, I just kind of have random stuff that I found. I haven't tried to min-max these yet. This is one that I found and I was able to roll it. This is, as I was saying, where I was getting a lot of extra skill radius so I could drop the other radius on the tree. This is just some LE Pen. I have these ones I spoke about before, which is just additional damage. And then same with this one, just another additional damage. And then I was able to pick up this thing, which this is more of like a bossing thing. I don't really know. I thought that this 20% talents would actually affect stuff, but it doesn't appear to do anything right now. It says it doesn't affect any of the other talents or the trees. But basically what this chaos thing does is basically the longer a map goes, then the stronger I get. This gets to a full 12% additional damage for spell burst skills after 1 minute and 40 seconds, which most maps aren't going to last that long, so it's not really doing anything. But based off of how this is anyways, I wouldn't be able to fit anything else in this tree as it is anyways. So at only 2 sockets, it fits pretty well. The other changes that we have made to the tree, and I will give an updated Maxroll link for this based off of where I'm at right now, is I have added overclock to Blurry Steps. I do not know how much this actually procs or not, but I did notice a 10% damage increase or so when I put it on. So this is going to give you a 23% increased damage to other skills, but it is going to fall off after 6 times. I think that this is working still with the 2 seconds of the blur buff itself. Because as soon as you use a skill with Blurry Steps, it's going to cause Blurry Steps to fall off and give you a different buff. So the overclock itself, I think, is just going to cause Blurry Steps to fall off, possibly a little bit sooner than it normally would, but you're typically getting about 6 casts off in 2 seconds anyways. If you don't want to run overclock, you can run something else. Test it for yourself, see how it works out for you. For the Euphoria on hit, we are using 4 empowers on hit now, basically. We're using Secret Origin Unleash, Fixate, Arcane Circle, and Mana Boil. For our skills, we're running Elemental Amplification and Electric Conversion. This is just like a level, very, very low level swiftness. You can remove this. You don't need to run it. Only run it if you have the extra mana. I just happen to have a lot of extra mana on the tree, so I'm able to fit it in there. For this, I am running Curse on Hit with the Elemental Destruction and Seal Conversion. Because of the fact that the shield is so expensive right now, to the point where, again, it's not worth buying at this price. Do not buy it. I would just use Spring Resurrections or craft wands. It's going to be much cheaper to craft wands, so you can buy those +2 lightning wand bases for 1 to 2 FE per. They're extremely cheap right now. You can run Mana Magical Source with Seal Conversion on your Curse on Hit here, which you'll see it is sealing up a little bit of the life, but that's no problem because you don't really have survivability issues on this. So you can see I'm sealing up 450 life, which is fine. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. If for this, I've been pretty cleanly going through everything through T7. Haven't really been having any issues. I do not intend on doing T8 on this. The intention is basically just use this to farm some money, and then as soon as I get to a certain amount of money, then I'm basically just going to end up swapping over to starting the Bing build that I have planned. So, other than that, have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And see you in the next one.